Hello, everyone. Let's talk about some pharma stuff today with Michelle Bridenbaker. So, Michelle, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Hope you are well too, Dario.
I am very well, always very well talking with you. And do you know that you're one of the first female, that you're actually the first female pharma leader at the Next Stuff podcast?
That's a very exciting opportunity. Thanks for thinking of me.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Well, maybe the reason behind this and why I invited you to this Next Stuff is for me quite obvious, but let me explain it to the audience. It's about really your energy and passion, somehow the aura which you have and which radiates from you and to the whole pharma community, right? And in my opinion, that is a very welcomed habit in today's environment of medical affairs, because we anticipated medical affairs as pharma's shy kid in recent years, but that's really changing very fast, especially during COVID, because it's certainly the rising star. So I would like to ask you the starting question, which is, how do you see that medical affairs are evolving in today's environment?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to also give a little background about me, because I think maybe my enthusiasm and my ability to communicate probably came from the fact that I started in sales. So I don't know if I should tell people that, but I think it gives me a little bit of a nice background to really be able to see the business from both sides, to see what sales and marketing does, and then coming over to medical affairs. And I think from my perspective, my enthusiasm really comes from the fact that we in medical affairs have a very special relationship with customers. When you look at any sort of surveys, we look at our own company surveys, we talk to clinicians, they trust what we have to say. They really believe that if you're doing a good job, you're a partner to the clinicians. They're very happy to contact you. They're very happy to bounce their ideas off of you. They look at us in the MSLs and our other medical leaders as like sounding boards. So I think over the years, we've continued to build that reputation. And I think we've built like really strength on strength. And I think that that's really critically important because we know now it's really transitioning across industry that our sales reps are getting less access to our customers. And at the end of the day, it's really pushing us as medical affairs, who are the people that often the doctors are happy to reach out to proactively. And it's whether it's MedInfo or it's the MSLs, we have really a strong offering that our customers are very, very used to using and have a lot of trust in us. And I think that's very, very special. And it really positions us well to get better and better at what we do and offer more to our customers.
So MSLs are the new sales reps.
No, no, we never say that. No. And I think, it's always that debate, isn't it? Because a lot of people go, oh, it's a medical rep. And the reality of it is we use a totally different vernacular. We have a totally different approach to our interactions. I look at most of my MSL colleagues, medical directors, even the people in my MedInfo team, and we really go out there and we know what our value is. We know we have information that the customers are really excited for. And when I look at the MSL especially, they're so different in their approach, and they get so much more time with the clinician because they, like I said before, they're a sounding board for the different clinicians. And I think that really is something that's quite exciting, and it's something we should constantly build on and be extremely proud about. Because, again, if you look at all the medical channels, whether it's MedInfo, whether it's MSLs, a lot of the times we're proactively reached out to. So we have a very different dynamic, and I think we should continue to be proud of that and to leverage it.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. As already stated, I would say that medical affairs is certainly the rising star during COVID and afterwards. So after this whole issue with the pandemics. But my question would be, what has actually changed in medical affairs, and where these changes will lead us from a wider perspective? So on bottom line, who will actually benefit out of it?
I think that the customers are benefiting. And I think it's because it made us really rethink our strategies and how we approached the customer, and even how we approached our content generation, how we approached our channel strategies, and really made us think very differently. And what was really interesting as well, and I think this is where medical was really able to be much more powerful and a shining star within COVID and beyond, is we've always been a very agile team. We've always been very agile within our organizations. We've really been able to pivot very quickly, to try and meet the needs of the customers. And I think during COVID, it also kind of pushed us as companies to finally take seriously the need to get into a more really serious thought process about operationalizing in the multi-channel space. I think we kept toying with it. We kept kind of hoping we could get there. You've been in many meetings, I have, where it was constantly like, yeah, we're close to being there in our multi-channel strategy. We're close to being digital, but, and it was always like ... we haven't made the progress we need to, or we're not happy where we are. And I think what was great in COVID and now especially is we were like, this has to be the way we work. And then we were very agile in being able to fill that space and to be able to be there side by side with the customers. And we then built these channels quickly and compliantly, which is important, of course. And we were then able to be there by their side during one of the most challenging times ever, and allowing the customers to have the ability to still continue to do clinical research, to be able to safely prescribe medications, and to also participate and really build the scientific narratives that are needed to help change the different therapeutic areas we work in. And I think, medical affairs, we always were agile. We finally got that push as a business to finally really get ourselves committed to the digital space. And we really did it. And I think we've done it well, and we're getting better every single day.
Certainly. I think that one very critical aspect is articulating the science in medical affairs, right? So how do you actually pass that message to your reps and MSLs and the whole team in the medical affairs department, but to be really effective and to really have a proper storytelling in place? Because really, frankly speaking, I think that segment in overall might be an issue in medical affairs, because they are very good at science, but sometimes very bad at storytelling and articulation.
Yeah, I think it's actually looking holistically at medical affairs. So it starts with first your scientific narratives. And we used to kind of take a one size fits all approach, which was already a problem, right? Because we know we have to deal with our various therapeutic areas where we have specialists that we deal with. We deal with as well GPs and primary care physicians, even pharmacists now. There's many different stakeholders that really speak a different language, and we have to pivot ourselves to be able to meet them where they need to, where they are in their information sort of pathways, but also how they want to hear it and the way that they want to receive that information. So I think for a long time, we had built that one size fits all, which was already a problem. And again, we talked about COVID, which I think really made us think differently. And I think as well, we've had to learn how to polish ourselves. And it's every function in medical affairs. When I think about what are you putting in your digital channels? How are you communicating in medical information or communications? How are you having your MSLs go out there and speak? Each of them needed really detailed and sort of focused sorts of interventions to make us better at communicating, making our information much more palatable. And especially with the MSLs, then it's, what I've seen, and I think it's been very effective, is working on those soft skills, really helping the MSL not being a sales rep, but be more polished in what they say, be more confident in the information, and really start to really listen to the customer. Because I think before it was, we go out there, we have all this data, and you really push it out there very scientifically. But what it was also now we pivoted to the actual MSL listening to what the customer needs and being able to deliver the information in a more palatable way, first and foremost, in the ways that they want and giving them the right information at the right time. But particularly, like I said, developing those soft skills so that they really are better able to interact with the customer in a much more meaningful way and a personalized way. Because I think, again, some of our oncologists, they love super detailed conversations. They love 20-page standard response letters. They're the guys that will go through that. But when we're having to deal on the next day's visit with another type of clinician, maybe a primary care physician, we have a totally different attention span. We have a totally different type of sort of interaction that we have to prepare ourselves for. And so whether you're an MSL or even in medical information, you have to pivot in a really smart way and in the way that's really appropriate for the customer. So I think that's really where I've seen, if you're really being successful as a medical affairs organization, this is what we've done. And it's not just one group that needs to change their behavior, but it's really holistically looking at your whole medical affairs offering.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Michelle. Really, I learned a lot. Was some very interesting pharma stuff. And looking forward to hear also some new pharma stuff from other pharma leaders. So thanks a lot for joining, and seeing you next year in Dubrovnik again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.